Hello students, I'm Vipul Mittal, and in this session I will discuss professional skepticism. So you are the auditor and you are auditing the financial statements. And you are required to maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. So you plan and perform your audit with professional skepticism. But what it means? It means that you need to have that critical bent of mind. You need to critically analyze. You have to be alert to conditions that cause the financial statements to be materially misstated. You have to maintain professional skepticism, recognizing that there may be circumstances that cause the financial statements to be materially misstated. So you need to have that critical bent of mind, and you have to be alert to conditions that cause the financial statements to be materially misstated. All right. So you need to critically analyze and being alert, but it does not mean that you assume management is dishonest. Do not assume that. Do not assume that management is dishonest. Assume what? Management is dishonest. Also, do not assume unquestioned honesty, but management is always honest. Do not assume that. Do not assume unquestioned honesty of management. But you have to be alert. You have to critically analyze the facts. Need to have a critical bent of mind. So you have to be alert to conditions that cause the financial statements to be materially misstated. So you have to be alert to such conditions. What are such conditions? For example, contradictory audit evidence. Contradictory audit evidence. If contradictory audit evidence comes across, then analyze that. For example, there is a single sale to a customer, just one sale during the year. So you are auditing the financial statements for ABC company, and it sold goods to one of its customer A. Single sale, just one sale to this customer. The invoice shows an amount of $10,000, and this amount is yet to be received. So this is appearing as account receivable. So you make an external confirmation that, okay, the invoice shows that sales made to you are $10,000. $10,000 is due from you. Is that correct? So you make that confirmation from the debtor. You make that confirmation from A. And debtor confirms that the amount due is not $10,000, but $8,000. This is a confirmation you get from the debtor. But invoice is stating something else. Invoice is showing that $10,000 is due. Contradictory audit evidence, and you have to be alert. You have to critically analyze. You have to be alert to a possibility of fraud. So conditions that indicate a possible fraud, you have to be alert to such conditions. For example, company made a payment of $20,000 to one of its vendor. But there is no corresponding purchase order. There is no corresponding invoice. There is no corresponding good receiving report. This indicates a possible fraud. A possible fraud. It is not that there is a fraud for sure, but it indicates a possible fraud. And you have to be alert to such conditions. This is what professional skepticism is. You need to be alert to circumstances that suggest the need for audit procedures in addition to those required by GAS. So procedures other than those required by auditing standards are required. You need to be alert to that. So you need to be alert to circumstances that suggest that there is a need to perform more procedures than required by GAS. GAS requires you to perform certain procedures. You have performed those procedures good, but there may be circumstances when you need to perform more procedures. So you perform procedures that are required by GAS, but are not able to generate sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Because now you do not have sufficient appropriate audit evidence, you should perform more procedures. This is professional skepticism. Although those additional procedures are not specified in GAS, but you still perform those procedures. You should be alert to information that questions the reliability of documents and responses. So reliability of evidences and responses to inquiries may be questionable. So you need to be alert to the information that questions the reliability of documents and responses to inquiries. So you want to use certain documents and responses to inquiries as your audit evidence, but it may be questionable. For example, there is a purchase invoice. Okay, so company purchase goods from vendor B, and there is an invoice from vendor B, but this invoice is not stamped. This invoice is not signed by the vendor. And you want to use this invoice as audit evidence regarding purchases from vendor B. Okay, you want to use this invoice as audit evidence, but it is questionable because this invoice is not stamped. This invoice is not signed by vendor B. And you need to be alert to this thing. This is what professional skepticism is. If there is any doubt regarding information, evidences, inquiries, question the evidence, investigate, determine what additional audit procedures are needed. So you have to maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. All right, students. I hope after watching this video, you are very comfortable with professional skepticism. Study hard. Take care.